Sometimes you don't even want an advice. Sometimes you just want to talk to somebody and feel like they get it. When I reached out to her, I wasn't sure what her reaction would be like. But to my greatest surprise, her response was so warm. Underneath all the pain, the disappointment that she had, she said she got it. Right there and then, I realized that sometimes we build bigger mountains over the little ones that already exist. Then it becomes so overwhelming for us to face it. We are often told that in every mistake is a great lesson. But how can you see treasure in something that has left you with feelings of shame, embarrassment, guilt, and low self-worth? Something that has probably caused pain to someone else. It's until we take steps to deal with this paralyzing and crippling feeling that we can clearly see any good in that experience and bounce back from that mistake. So what are the steps that we can take to overcome these crippling feelings? Let us look at 4 do's and don'ts that will help you bounce back from that mistake. And please, as we go through them, do let me know in the comment section below which of them resonates with you the most. The first is to own it, but don't let it define you. I know we are living in a time where it's almost like a taboo to talk about right and wrong. We just want things in neutral. Oh, there's no such thing as a mistake. It's just life, experiences, lessons, but that's half truth. It's one thing to say that something good can come out of a mistake, but to deny that it was a mistake is something else altogether. One of the reasons why we shy away from owning our mistakes is because we get mixed up between owning it and letting it define us. We feel that if I own up to this mistake, then I'm a bad person. But those are 2 different things. If I say my actions hurt my friend and I acknowledge that, that is me owning it. But if I say I'm a horrible person, terrible person, I do not think I am a friend, material, I do not deserve anybody's love, that is me allowing my mistake to give me a false definition of who I am. And we fall into this trap of condemning ourselves, especially if this mistake is a repeated one. But instead of beating yourself up, give yourself enough reason not to do it again. When I find myself in a repeated mistake, I remind myself of what is at stake if I keep making this mistake. This is a great measure to help you stay away from it. Another reason why we shy away from owning our mistakes is because we are under this pressure from the expectations that we have for ourselves or the high expectations that others have for us. We begin to feel like this mistake should not come from somebody like me. If I own up to this mistake, then I would have disappointed myself and those who are looking up to me. On the contrary, people will feel disappointed in you if you deny your mistakes, but they will find you trustworthy and relatable when you own up to it, because everybody makes mistakes. I once did not show up for a friend in a season that I really should have shown up for them. And all that crippling feeling of a mistake came over me, and in order to numb all of that, I came up with excuses. Oh, I did not know about it. That was true, but then I knew about it later on. And I gave other excuses like my hands were full, I just had a newborn then, so many things were happening. Again, there was some level of truth in that, but I know that there was something I could do even in that situation. And to be honest with you, those excuses gave me some relief, but the relief was just temporal. Until the time I decided that I would stop running away from this situation and I was going to face it. When I reached out to her, I wasn't sure what her reaction would be like, but to my greatest surprise, her response was so warm. Underneath all the pain, the disappointment that she had, she said she got it. Because she herself has found herself in that similar situation not once, not twice, but thrice. Right there and then, I realized that sometimes we build bigger mountains over the little ones that already exist. Then it becomes so overwhelming for us to face it. Maybe you're beating yourself up a little bit too much. Meanwhile, on the other side, that boss, that business partner, that parent, sibling, child, that spouse, underneath that pain and disappointment, they get it, because they too are humans. What will hurt more is if you do not own up to that mistake and take responsibility. Quick question, have you taken the time to say, I'm sorry for the role I played in causing you physical, mental, emotional pain? I'm sorry that my actions costed you that business deal, costed us our relationship. Or are you throwing out general statements like, oh well, it's unfortunate that this turned out the way that it did? It's one thing to recognize you did wrong, and it's another thing to take responsibility with a sincere apology. Owning up will reduce the weight of that emotional baggage tied to your mistake. So when we mess up, let's fess up. When we fess up, we will be motivated to start taking steps towards making things right. That said, don't be in a rush to make things right. Yes, I know there are mistakes that we need to attend to immediately to fix things, and at times quick fixes can work. But that's not the case for every mistake. Some do take time. You may need a plan, a strategy in order to tackle it. That pressure to come up with a solution here and now will kick you into panic mode, which can lead to many more mistakes. Be kind and gentle with yourself. Show yourself grace. When last did you extend the same grace that you give others to yourself? Give yourself time to think. You may even need external help. That brings us to the third, which is to talk to someone who has been there. We often look for similar stories or situations to ours for the wrong reasons. We are looking for somebody who has also messed up so that we can compare ourselves with them, and then we feel better about ourselves. Like, oh, at least I'm not the only one who has messed up. Or at least my mistake is not as bad or as worse as theirs, and then we feel better. But we know that that is just a temporal or a momentary consolation. Rather, we should seek or look for these stories that are similar to ours. So talk to a trusted person who has been there for several reasons. One, so that they can give you a shoulder to cry on. Sometimes you don't even want an advice. Sometimes you just want to talk to somebody and feel like they get it. And so somebody who has also made mistakes, they will get you. They will give you that listening ear. They will give you that shoulder to cry on. You also want to talk to somebody who has been there, who will not just help you form some pity party, but will be able to give you an honest feedback about the situation you find yourself in. They'll be able to also give you tips and advice on how they bounce back from their own mistake. Tips on how to have that difficult conversation, how to regain that business deal, how to repair that broken friendship or relationship. Quick question, who is that trusted person you can talk to today? And you may not only have to talk to someone who has been there. If the emotional baggage of that mistake is really taking a toll on you, you may want to seek professional help. Talk to a professional and know that you are not alone. For some people, it has taken years for them to be able to get over that mistake, heal, and be able to tell their story from a place of victory and not as a victim. Last but not the least is don't be afraid to try again. The fear of trying again after a failure or a mistake is not uncommon, and it's especially common among those with perfectionist tendencies. I had the tendency to beat up myself so much when I made a mistake that it led to fear of trying again, and the fear of trying again led to procrastination. That's why the mistakes of most perfectionists is that of omission. Rather analyze the situation, what and why things went wrong, what you can do to make things right, and what you can do differently next time, and then try to move on. So again, remember that mistakes are a part of life, and without them, we won't feel the thrill that comes from getting things right. Now, before I go into the one important announcement I wanted to make here today, do let me know in the comment section below which of these 4 resonated with you the most. So to my returning subscribers and those who will be joining in today, I just want to bring to your attention that I will be bringing back the live streams that I used to do with guests on the show. I really believe in the power of stories. It's important that we should be able to listen to other people's journeys, how they started, where they are, and how they are moving on. I also believe that there are some important conversations that we should be having in this day and time when it comes to pursuing your purpose, when it comes to clarity, when it comes to having a holistic approach to this subject of purpose and dreams, when it comes to balance. I believe there's some important conversations we should be having. And so I'm excited that I have great people who would be coming on for us to have these conversations. And the very first one will start next week, Saturday. I'm excited about this guest, and we are going to be talking on a subject I believe almost all of us can relate to. So please keep your notification bells on so that you do not miss it. I will also leave some information on my community page, and it will really help you. I believe you will not only relate to those things, but you will be able to find steps and tricks and principles that you can apply that will also help you on this journey to pursue your purpose with more clarity and balance. It's really my desire to see you bloom and flourish in your everyday life. So stay tuned.